so for example, pushing, right? If you're doing a horizontal push, that could be like a bench press. When you're laying down on your bench, I've got a bench right here, and I typically do bench press. I've got adjustable dumbbells, so I work out at home a lot of the time. So a flat bench press, right? You could be on the bench doing a flat bench press, or you could have a barbell or dumbbells, and you could be doing, for example, an overhead press, like so. So, what we need to do is transfer that over to be able to use it with our body weight. There's a ton of exercises we can do, but also as well as using our body weight, we want to be able to progress. So we need a variety of exercises that we can move through. So once you've done one exercise and you're efficient and that exercise no longer serves you or it becomes too easy, we need to be able to move on to something else. So for example, pushing. A nice simple way to look at pushing. For a level 1, for example, we could do a nice simple humble push-up, if you can see me, okay? No, actually, I take that back. For a level 1, we could do a nice easy version of a push. We could start off on a chair or a table or another object, and we can do an incline push-up. So we could be like this, doing an incline push-up. You could even do that on your knees to make the push-up easier, right? And then when you're efficient at the incline push-up, you can make that more difficult and take it to like a level 2 by doing a full push-up. And then when you become efficient at that, you could take it up a notch and move along to a level 3, and we could do something like a decline push-up where you have your legs elevated, like so. You have your legs elevated and you do push-ups that way. Sorry, I know you can't see me very well, but the point is, instead of the barbell bench press, we need something else we can do at home, and we also need to be able to move through a variety of exercises, because in the gym, let's say we were doing a barbell bench press or a machine chest press or dumbbell bench press, whatever we're doing, to progress, we would just simply increase the weight, right? And we can't do that at home unless you have some kind of weight. So if all you've got is your body, we need to make that exercise become tougher and tougher. So we'd start off like this, then go flat, and then come up this way, just make it harder and harder. And eventually you could do things like a handstand push-up, which I'm not going to show you right now, but you'd have your feet against the wall, so you'd pretty much be almost upside down doing a push-up with your feet in the air. So that's a way to make it harder. When it comes to pulling, I think you get the point anyway. I've got an exercise database I'm going to give to you guys after this, showing you what you can do for pulling. When it comes to squats, obviously you've got your, let's say for example you were doing a barbell squat in the gym, right? You went into the rack, you had a barbell, you came out and you're doing your squats. At home you can't do that if you don't have a barbell. We're just using a body weight. So what we can start off with is just bodyweight squats, right? And for a lot of people, oh, I hit my knees crunch then. For a lot of people, that is going to be way too easy, especially if you're somebody who is used to strength training, doing heavy squats. Doing squats with your body weight might be too easy for you. You might be able to get, 50, 60, 70 squats, and it's not going to do much for you. So what we can do instead, we can move along to a level 2 type exercise where we use a single leg. So you could do a split squat on the spot and just drop in one leg at a time. We can make that a little bit more difficult by moving back and forth and doing a lunge. Okay, so that's still a squat movement. So remember, squatting is breaking at the knees, like this. The hinge is where you break at the waist, at the hips. So level 1 would be a bodyweight squat. If that's too easy, you could do a single leg squat or a split squat. And then you could even walk back and forth and turn that into a lunge to make it harder. When that becomes too easy and you can do way too many reps, because you get to a point of diminishing returns, you could have something to rest the leg on, and then you could turn that into an elevated split squat. So effectively you're removing an entire leg and all of your weight is just on the one leg now. So again, that's showing you how we can progress with the squat movement without having to add weight. Again, if you're using a barbell squat, you'd add weight. We can't do that at home, so this is another way we can increase. With a hinge, a few examples, what you could do, nice and simple, you could do a bodyweight hinge. For some people, that's going to be challenging enough. What you want to do is bend back, feel the stretch on the hamstrings, and come up and squeeze. If that is really easy, you could do that on the one leg. You could do a one-legged hinge. You could even rest it and do a one-leg hinge, or you could not rest it at all and you could have it, your leg in the air, and do a hinge this way. And the same thing, we can progress. You could even be on the floor and you can do a thrust, a hip thrust. I know some of you guys are going to love this because it looks just like all the 80s Lycra type exercises, the Mr. Motivator stuff. If that's too easy, you could do that on one leg. And then when that becomes too easy, you could use a surface and you do an elevated thrust. And then again, you could use one leg and make it harder. So the point is, if you're used to doing a hinge in the gym, something like maybe a deadlift, to progress, you would add weight. Because we can't do that at home, we've got a variety of exercises from easy, which gets progressively harder. So instead of adding weight, we can just keep on moving through the different exercises to make things harder. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to bring the camera back here a second and turn this back around.